Oftentimes we're operating from the view that it's not already here. And of course, that would suggest that we're basing that determination that what's aspiring to be seen and understood and realized is somehow not this, right? In other words, it's something else. Hence, conditioned on how it's looking, like this isn't it. It must look different than this. Or we'll have times when we feel as if we've touched something very profound, come to realize something about the nature of this, and then feel as if it slips away, that it's no longer present, right? That's very common. I think we all have some sense of that. And again, that suggests this belief, points to this belief in the conditionality of it, that it somehow looks a certain way, feels a certain way, appears a certain way. And then when it's not looking or feeling or appearing the particular ways we think it does or should, or we wish it might, then we feel as if we've lost something, right? That's what I mean by the conditions being placed on it. So I want to talk a little bit about, explore the way in which this is unconditional. Does not depend upon anything. Doesn't depend upon anything because it is everything. And so yes, inevitably we have our human preferences for certain kinds of experiences and circumstances. But freedom is freedom from imagining that our deepest well-being depends upon circumstances and experiences, when in fact it doesn't. I talk about exploring what is common to all of this, all of these different flavors of experience, all of these different textures and qualities and ways experience can be experienced, seem to be showing up. And we're often being bounced around by all those differences in terms of how we seem to be doing. And also how close we feel we have come to feel what this is, to realize what this is. But what this is the basis of everything. That's what I mean by it's unconditioned. So it doesn't matter how the waves are appearing. The waves are always the sea, to put it as simply as I could. And so to recognize that, it can be helpful to focus attention or orient to what is common to everything. And maybe one of the simplest doorways into that common denominator of everything is simply the beingness of everything. We could say just the simple, obvious fact that it is. The fact that this moment is. No matter how the moment is looking, what is most essential, most basic, most fundamental about what's here is that it's here, that it is. And just feel that for a moment, the beingness of this moment, the presence of it, the existence of it. Now, this beingness of the moment has this obvious quality of constant shifting, right? It just, you can't hold it in place. You cannot keep it from, it would seem, from becoming something else. It's in this state, which isn't really a state because it's not static, but we could say the state of constant becoming, constant transformation, constant unfolding, constant opening. It doesn't open and then stop opening. It just continues to do this dance of change, of transformation, of morphing. Just feel that. Feel the flow of that, the ceaseless flow of this dynamic beingness. Just absolutely unstoppable in its dynamism, in its transformative nature. But here's the thing, and this is what I mean by unconditional. No matter how the beingness of the moment is transforming itself and looking and appearing and then being described as it invariably is described by itself, by consciousness. Regardless of that, it continues to exist, doesn't it? The beingness is unconditioned. The beingness is indestructible. It does not depend on how the beingness happens to be appearing. Feel that. It's the great paradox that reality is always being, even in all of its constant change and becoming the next version of itself, the next iteration of itself. Always being. The beingness doesn't depend on anything. It's not greater when it looks a certain way. It's not less when it looks a certain way. It is always full on 1,000% beingness. It never diminishes. Beingness always is being. And of course, this beingness is not something over there that we're noticing or observing right now. It can seem that way sometimes. Subtly, we can have this view that we're over here, or we're here watching or viewing or seeing or experiencing the beingness of reality somehow over there apart from us. But no, we are the beingness. Everything is the beingness. It's impossible to be cast out of the beingness based on some set of experiences or circumstances that are happening. No thought, no feeling, no sensation, no circumstance can remove us from the beingness, because all thoughts, all feelings, all sensations, all circumstances, all circumstances are the beingness. It's impossible to be removed from this, because we are this, unconditioned. Sick as a dog, the beingness. Healthy, vital, the beingness. Laughing, tears of great joy and jubilation, pure beingness. Tears of sadness and heartbreak, pure beingness. Quiet mind, pure beingness. Busy, scattered mind, pure beingness. The beingness does not depend upon how the beingness is looking. In that sense, nothing is needed. Nothing is needed in order for the beingness to be, is it? Nothing has to happen in order for the beingness to be. Nothing needs to change. Nothing needs to be transformed in order for beingness to be. Nothing needs to be different about how you're thinking or feeling or sensing or perceiving the moment for exactly the way this moment is appearing. The precise way this moment is being perceived is the beingness. Unconditioned, not dependent upon anything, for it is everything. The ocean is not dependent on how the waves are forming themselves. The way the waves are forming themselves is the expression of the ocean. We could say everything that's appearing depends upon being, but being depends upon nothing. Just feel that unconditioned being that does not matter how it's appearing. And you, everything about you is its shining. You can't get into beingness, nor can you be cast out of beingness, for there is only beingness. The beingness of this. This that can appear like anything. But all of the appearances, all of the ways it can seem to be are it, the beingness. Always being, always becoming, but one thing. One mysterious, ungraspable inconceivability taking shape as all these seeming forms and definitions and descriptions and qualities and flavors. But in a sense, never becoming anything other than itself. Reality never spits out something that isn't itself. It always is spitting out itself. It's always producing itself. It's always generating itself. And in that sense, we are the very thing we have been looking for, all have always been. It is right here as this very instant, beingness. Nothing needs to be different about it, about this moment, for this moment to be unconditioned.